Good morning, everyone. Another thought for the day. And I've struggled, to be honest, what to talk about because I want to do a psalm, but it challenges your understanding of it. And we've had quite a few people talk about this psalm during these thought for the days. So I thought, no, I'll do something else. And I've pondered this for the last 3 or 4 days. And just 5 minutes ago, I thought I'd do a talk in 2 Chronicles. But I keep coming back to Psalm 46. Psalm 46 is one of the most famous psalms, where it says in verse 10, "Be still and know that I am God." It's a great verse because we take it to talk about that, in all those circumstances going on around us, God says, just be still, quieten yourself, sit in a corner, reflect. Don't let the troubles of the day overwhelm you. And we have it on the that banner in the church saying, "Be still," we show the cross. And it's a great encouragement. And yet I know that's not the intent of that verse. It's all about context. Now, I, at the moment, watch the daily briefings for COVID-19. I listen to the news and they throw out all the statistics and percentages and numbers, and I sit there and get cross. Louise knows I'm getting cross because being an accountant, I deal with figures and I'm a statistician, basically, junior one. But I look at figures, and the problem I have with a lot of these figures, they're chucked out. They're done with the aim to prove the presenter's point, to emphasise, but often there's no context to the stat. There's no explanation to make it more meaningful, and that totally frustrates me. When I was in business as a finance director or group finance controller, I would produce the accounts, and they could be good profits. And I'd say to my boss, "How do you want me to present these?" "What do you mean?" he'd say. "Do you want it in a positive light, or do you want it in a negative light?" Even if we made losses or didn't meet our budget targets, I could present it in a positive light or a negative light. And that's what you do. You present it according to the argument you're looking to say. Here in Psalm 46, let me read it to you, the starting verses. "God is our refuge and strength, a never-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging." And it starts off by saying, the psalm is saying, we're in a problem. There's a story in, I think, 2 Chronicles 20, where the nations around Israel gather. They've got the sea on one side, and every nation's implied decide they're going to annihilate and destroy the Jewish nation once and for all. And so they gather. And so the king calls the people to prayer. They stand before God and he says, "Lord, you're the great." And he goes all through this and he says, look, the love of God endures forever. And God says, just go and stand your troops in the morning and I will have won the battle. And the troops go and they stand and they see before them hundreds of thousands of dead bodies where the Lord has fought the battle on their behalf. He goes on in verse 7 of Psalm 46. "The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress." And the problem for me with this psalm is that when I get to this verse 10, "Be still and know that I am God," it seems a bit clunky. Now, you won't hear many people say that of the Bible. It doesn't fit in, for me, this aspect of being quiet. Let me read you what it says in the 2 preceding verses. "Come and see what the Lord has done, the desolations he's brought on the earth. He makes war cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. He says, 'Be still and know that I am God.'" And it just doesn't quite connect to those previous verses. It's clunky. That's the technical term. It doesn't stand as if it flows when you consider it's me sitting down and being still, and God is talking about breaking the bow and the spear and the shields and all this stuff and making war cease, because he suddenly comes out and says, "Be still." But the assumption is, when we read this be still, God is looking at you and me. That is what's happening, is my understanding here. He's not talking to me. He recognizes all these nations are looking to attack his people, who he's promised to protect. He's not talking to you and me. He's talking to all those people around. And in those times, they knew of the God of Israel, the God of the Jewish people and all those tribes. And he says to them, be still, stop it, and know that I am God. Come and see what the Lord has done, the desolations he's brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and the spear. As the psalmist starts, God is our refuge and strength, a never-present help in trouble. And this verse 10 says, now when he's looking to the nations, be still, stop what you're doing and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted on the earth. And the psalmist concludes, the Lord Almighty is with us. The God of our Jacob is our fortress. And the simple thought I want to bring to your attention today is, no matter what you're facing, God is defending you. And there are times, as in 2 Chronicles, they just stood before God. I wonder when the last time when the last time you actually stood before God. I don't mean sitting or kneeling, but stood quietly before God. Maybe in a time of fear or desperation, but you stood. And the psalmist applies this verse, be still. They had a confidence. There was fears of natural realities of life, but all they could do was turn to God. And perhaps you're in a situation, all you can do is turn to God. And I'd say, that's what you got to do. Stand, be still. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. I fear the statistics I see each day at 5 o'clock on the latest coronavirus. The politicians who throw out numbers, they scare the living daylights out of me. But my God stands by me, and I will be still. I will be stand, because he is the biggest dad in the school playground. And I'm so pleased to be his son. Enjoy the rest of the day. God bless.